Okay, back for video number 2. And I think I have a 15-minute limit, so that's kind of why I have to do it in little sections. But we are looking at transitions, and transitions are how one slide moves to the next when you are showing the presentation. So if I showed this presentation and I click, notice it just went from one slide to the next. There was nothing to transition it to go to the next slide. Okay, but if I were to set a transition for this slide, let's say a wipe, okay, and it gave you a little preview there. Then I go to my, let me actually start from the beginning, right? There's the first slide, there's the second slide. So instead of just a plain jump, it gives you a little bit of a visual effect. Okay, so those are transitions. They can be timed so that they can move a little slower. There can be sounds. Strongly suggest to stay away from sounds. They can get a little crazy and a little annoying. So, and you know, if it's a cute little fun thing, that's one thing. But usually when we're looking at professional presentations, we want to stay away from the sounds. There's a timing where it will actually advance the slide when you click, or it can do it automatically after so many seconds. And we'll talk about that part a little bit later as well. Okay, then once you, let's see, you can set transitions. You can set transitions for multiple slides at the same time. You can also come into the slide sorter view. So now that you've set a transition, you can see this little star at the bottom right-hand corner of that slide. I can click on it, and it'll give me a preview of what that transition is going to do. I could come in, and this is a quick way to come in, and if you want to set some different transitions, you can set some random transitions. They kind of got some different groups. So here's the subtle group. So you may get that in your instructions as well. Choose the wind transitions out of the exciting group, something like that. Okay. So again, just different options there. You can select, like if I were to hold down Shift, I can select multiple slides and maybe apply that same transition to all of those slides to be a little bit quicker and more efficient in what we're doing. Okay. All right, so back to my normal view. Okay, so here we've got actually they've got a lot of different things on this slide. That's probably not a good one to work with. This one looks like we've got one placeholder, and oh, this is a video. Okay, and we've got a title. Let's see if I can find a good one. This is kind of a weird presentation. Okay, we'll just work with this one. For animations. Okay, now animations are how your text and your pictures come onto the slide. So if I want and a lot of times the title doesn't necessarily have to, because it can be there as part of your transition. But let's say this box right here, if I want this text to float in, okay, you can see it did all of those in 3 different moves. Okay, I can have some choices here that if I wanted that to all come in as one object, I could all at once by paragraph. So I have some different choices here. And then every time you pick an animation, there's always some kind of effect option that changes depending on what you have selected and what kind of animation you pick. So this is a float in, and you can choose. Do you want it to float in from the bottom or float down from the top? Those are some different choices there. Okay, if I want to do a split, that's what it looks like. Again, different split options these change depending on which one you pick. Okay. Now for the different animations, what you need to see are the different groups. There's entrance, there's emphasis, and there's exit. Okay. So entrance is how it's going to come onto the page. If you just want it to emphasize when it's on the page, you could choose one of these. Okay, so it's on the page all the time. It will just, in this case, teeter a little bit to give emphasis to that text. So this one will grow, grow, grow. Okay. Um, let's see. Darken. So you just kind of play with them and see which ones work as well. And then, of course, there's the exit. So we could have it all there, and then it would fade out one at a time. Okay. Now, usually we're going to use an entrance effect, but you never know. You may have time. You may have need for some of those other options. So just realize those are there. And then again, here's something a little bit more fun, where you can create your own motion path. So if you wanted to be able to draw a custom path, and you have this picture that comes in off the page, and it kind of, maybe a picture of a bird or a butterfly, and it kind of flutters around the page a little bit. That's something that you can play with these motion paths, and that's something just kind of fun to mess with. Okay. So again, here's the animations. There's also an animation pane, and this is one that we can look at. So right now we've animated our box here, and you can see that the placeholder has been animated. And then we've got the trigger for the video, that was already there. So here we can edit, we can move animations up and down. If we go animate something at the end when it should actually happen at the beginning, we can control that with this animation pane. Okay, and then here again, how is it going to start? Is it going to start on a click? Is it going to start with the previous or after the previous item already happens? How fast is it going to come in? How fast or slow? Is there a delay? So this gives you, again, some control and fine-tuning your presentation. Okay, and then let's see, I think once, yeah, and so here, if you preview it again in our slide sorter view, you can see how it comes in. Okay, and then actually let's see. If I wanted this to last a little bit longer, you can see that duration is there. Let me see if it shows up here. No, it doesn't show up here. That's when we do the timings. We'll get to that in just a second. Okay. And slideshow. So here we can start the slideshow either from the beginning, or if you're editing and revising and going through that process, sometimes we don't want to start it from the beginning every single time. Or, if we have to get out of the presentation for some reason to show something else and want to come back to it, we can choose from the current slide. Okay. There's some different presentation services. Setup, show. Okay, let's see. So here's this presenter view. Presenter view is good if you've got a projector, because I wish I could show it to you. But when I project it, and you may have seen this on teacher screens, the board will have the screen will have the whole full PowerPoint, where on the computer part of it, it has like the notes and stuff, and it has a smaller version of the screen. And so that's where those speaker notes can come in handy, so that, like, if I'm presenting, I'm looking at my laptop, I'm looking at my audience, and I can see my notes for that slide, when behind me it's the full slide that my audience is looking at. So it's like using a notes handout, but on the computer. And I really haven't gotten to the printing part yet, so we'll talk about the notes handout again in a second. So setup show, this can be useful too. Again, if you are wanting to loop a presentation. So if you think about the presentation that's up in the cafeteria that shows all the announcements and pictures of things going on at Reagan, once that finishes, it goes back to the beginning. And it's just a PowerPoint presentation that's set up to loop continuously, okay? And it's set up for full screen, okay? So that's an option there. You can time it. Again, use timings for your different slides, and you can actually record your slideshow. So if you have to do a presentation and you want to time it up just perfectly, and there may be settings to actually use your computer microphone as well, so you can talk through your presentation and have it recording. Okay, and review, still have spell check. I don't think we're going to really get into anything here. View, these are the views we've been talking about, the normal view, the slide sorter view. There's a notes page view. If we look at this, see how there's a picture of the slide at the top, and then there's a section here where you can type in the notes. And these are the notes that would be right here. Okay, so these are your speaker's notes. And if I look at that in notes page view, you can see whatever I typed in that box shows up here. And so this can be a page that's printed that can give the speaker kind of an outline of what to talk about. Okay. Again, the outline view, instead of having the thumbnails at the side, we have the text showing, and reading view. Yeah, I guess kind of a preview of it, I guess, but okay. And now the other thing that's going to be used in this view tab is the master. Okay, and so at this point, I've got a couple more things I want to cover with the master view and printing. And I don't think I can get it done in the 2 minutes that I have left for this recording. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this one again and start a third one here in a second.